Admiral James Reeves stood at the large window of the United Earth Defense Force headquarters, his weathered hands clasped behind his back. The morning had started like any other until it wasn't. Now, he watched as thousands of alien ships appeared out of nowhere, their dark shapes blocking out the stars above Earth. At 62 years old, Reed had spent 4 decades preparing for this moment. While the public went about their daily lives, he and a select few had carried the weight of humanity's greatest secret. Now, that burden felt heavier than ever. "Admiral, they're broadcasting on all frequencies," reported Lieutenant Smith, her voice steady despite the tension in the room. The massive control center beneath the Rocky Mountains buzzed with controlled activity as military personnel monitored the situation. "Put it through," Reed ordered, turning away from the window. The main screen flickered to life, revealing a tall, humanoid figure with metallic-looking skin. Its eyes glowed with an unnatural purple light. The alien spoke in perfect English, its voice carrying an artificial smoothness. "People of Earth, I am High Commander Dax of the Galactic Empire. Your planet has been chosen for integration into our magnificent empire. Resistance is futile. You have 48 Earth hours to submit to our authority, or face immediate elimination." Reed allowed himself a small smile. The Empire had done exactly what they'd predicted, assumed humanity was primitive simply because they hadn't seen their true capabilities. The old admiral walked to his command chair, each step measured and calm. "Lieutenant, what's the count?" he asked. "Sir, we're tracking 3,247 Imperial vessels in our solar system. Their main fleet is positioned behind Mars, with scout ships spread throughout the inner planets." Reed nodded. The Empire's tactics were predictable, just as their intelligence suggested. They always used overwhelming force to intimidate lesser species into submission. It had worked countless times across the galaxy. But Earth was different. Deep beneath the Antarctic ice, Project Guardian was already coming online. Dr. Wells had sent confirmation just minutes after the first ships appeared. Decades of preparation were about to pay off. "Sir," called out another officer, "we're detecting energy buildups in several of their vessels. They're scanning the planet's surface." "Let them look," Reed replied. "They won't find anything we don't want them to see." The truth was beautifully simple. Humanity had known about the Galactic Empire for over 200 years. Their first scout ship had crashed in Russia in 1908, what the public knew as the Tunguska event. Since then, Earth's governments had secretly united, pooling resources and brilliant minds to prepare for this inevitable day. Every time the Empire sent observers, Earth knew. When they planted hidden monitoring stations on the moon, humanity let them, feeding them exactly what they wanted to see. A young species still fighting among themselves, barely able to reach their own satellite. Reed watched as Imperial scout ships moved closer to Earth's atmosphere. Their scans would show exactly what humanity had prepared for them to see: outdated satellites, primitive defense systems, and a completely normal planetary civilization, unaware of the larger galaxy. They wouldn't detect the millions of microscopic defenders floating in orbit, each one containing technology that would make the Empire's best scientists scratch their heads in confusion. They wouldn't find the quantum network linking every major military installation on Earth, and they certainly wouldn't discover the true nature of Project Guardian until it was too late. "Contact the Security Council," Reed ordered. "Tell them it's time for Protocol Omega." As his officers carried out their duties with practiced efficiency, Reed thought about how the next few hours would change human history forever. The Empire expected either immediate surrender or futile resistance. Instead, they were about to learn a lesson that humanity had mastered over millennia of conflict. The most dangerous opponent isn't the one who shows their strength, but the one who knows how to hide it. "Sir," Lieutenant Smith called out, "the Council has approved Protocol Omega. They're waiting for your command." Reed took a deep breath. Humanity's moment of revelation was approaching, and he would make sure it was one the Empire would never forget. "Send them our response," he said, his voice carrying the weight of 2 centuries of preparation. Let's show them exactly why they should have looked more carefully before threatening Earth. The next move was set. The Empire's countdown was ticking, but it wasn't Earth that should be worried about the deadline. Soon, very soon, the galaxy's greatest power would learn that they weren't as mighty as they thought. And Earth's warning would shake the Empire to its core. Dr. Thomas Wells walked through the gleaming white corridors of Project Guardian's main facility, 2 miles beneath the Antarctic ice. The walls hummed with power as the facility's quantum cores spun up to full capacity for the first time in 50 years. "Status report," he called out, entering the vast central chamber. The room was filled with rows of advanced computers and strange machines that looked nothing like typical Earth technology. Holographic displays showed the positions of Imperial ships in real time. "All systems are at 98%, Doctor," reported Mark Turner, his young assistant. "The quantum network is stable, and the nanite defense grid is fully operational." Wells nodded, his eyes fixed on the central display. Few people knew that this chamber existed, let alone what it contained. The truth would have shocked even the Empire's most advanced scientists. Every piece of technology here had been built using knowledge gained from their own crashed ships. The first discovery had been pure luck, the Tunguska incident. But after that, humanity had gotten clever. For 2 centuries, they had secretly shot down Imperial scout ships using methods that looked like accidents or natural phenomena. Each wreck had been a treasure trove of information. "Dr. Wells," called out Anna Roberts from her station, "Admiral Reed is requesting activation of the primary defense system." Wells smiled. The Empire had no idea that their own technology had been used against them, improved upon, and evolved into something they couldn't even detect. Earth's scientists had taken their base concepts and pushed them far beyond what the Empire thought possible. "Begin the activation sequence," Wells ordered. Deep beneath their feet, ancient machines stirred to life. The quantum cores pulsed with energy as power flowed through systems that had waited decades for this moment. On screens around the room, dots of light appeared, representing millions of microscopic defenders scattered throughout the solar system. Each one was smaller than a grain of sand, yet contained computing power greater than all of Earth's computers combined. At least all the computers the Empire knew about. "Sir, look at this," Turner called out, pointing to his screen. The Empire's ships were launching more detailed scans of Earth's surface. "They're trying to find our defense systems." "Let them look," Wells replied, walking to a sealed door at the far end of the chamber. "They're searching for what they expect to find: missile silos, laser arrays, electromagnetic weapons. They won't find what we actually have." The door slid open with a soft hiss, revealing Earth's greatest achievement. In the center of a massive chamber floated a single object, no larger than a basketball. It looked simple, almost primitive, but its surface swirled with patterns that seemed to bend the light around it. This was humanity's trump card, the Infinity Core. Created by combining Earth's best scientific minds with recovered alien technology, it could manipulate the very fabric of space-time. The Empire's most advanced shields would be useless against it. "All systems are ready," announced Roberts, waiting for final authorization. Wells touched his earpiece. "Admiral Reed, the package is prepared. Project Guardian is at your command." Through the facility's communications network, Reed's voice came through clearly. "Excellent work, Doctor. Prepare for Phase 1. Let's show our visitors that appearances can be deceiving." Wells turned to his team. These men and women had dedicated their lives to preparing for this day. Some had never seen their families again after joining the project. Others had worked here for decades, aging beneath the ice while the world above remained unaware of their sacrifice. "Start the countdown," he ordered. "Activate the quantum shield first, then power up the core." Around the facility, lights dimmed as power was diverted to the ancient machines. The air itself seemed to crackle with energy as humanity's hidden arsenal came to life. In orbit, Imperial scanners would detect nothing unusual. Their mighty fleet would continue to wait, confident in their superiority, unaware that they were already surrounded by technology far beyond their understanding. "Message from Admiral Reed," called out Turner. "The Empire's deadline is approaching. They're expecting our surrender." Wells looked at the Infinity Core, its surface now glowing with internal light. 200 years of preparation had led to this moment. The Empire thought they were dealing with a primitive species barely able to reach their own moon. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. "Tell the Admiral we're ready," Wells said. "It's time to show the Empire why they should have looked more carefully at the little planet they thought would be an easy conquest." The countdown began. Earth's warning was about to be delivered. High Commander Dax stood on the bridge of the Imperial flagship, watching Earth through the massive view screen. The blue planet looked so small, so helpless. Like all the other worlds the Empire had conquered, this one would soon bow before their might. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the surface," reported his second-in-command, Officer Gray. "They're using our own communication frequencies." Dax's metallic features showed surprise for a moment. These primitives shouldn't have been able to access Imperial channels. Perhaps they had gotten lucky. "Put it on screen," he ordered. Admiral Reed's face appeared before them. The human looked calm, almost relaxed. "High Commander," Reed said, "we've considered your offer of surrender. And you've chosen wisely to accept." Dax's voice carried the arrogance of someone who had never known defeat. "Actually," Reed replied with a slight smile, "we have a counterproposal. You have 1 hour to leave our solar system. This is your only warning." Laughter erupted across the Imperial bridge. Even Dax allowed himself to chuckle. These humans were either very brave or very foolish. "You dare threaten the mighty Empire?" Dax leaned forward. "Perhaps a demonstration is in order. Target their largest military installation with a low-power blast. Show them what they're dealing with." Before his weapons officer could comply, Reed spoke again. "We thought you might need convincing. Watch carefully." From Earth's surface, a single missile launched. The Imperial crew watched with amusement as the primitive projectile rose through the atmosphere. "Pathetic," Dax sneered. "Their weapons are centuries behind ours. Our shields will." He never finished the sentence. The missile passed straight through their strongest energy barriers like they weren't there. It stopped just 100 meters from the flagship's hull, hanging motionless in space. "Impossible," Officer Gray shouted. "Our shields, they're still at full power, but the missile." "Scan that weapon," Dax ordered, his voice no longer carrying any trace of amusement. The scanning officers worked frantically at their stations. "Sir, we can't get any readings. It's like the missile exists outside of normal spacetime." On the view screen, Reed's expression remained calm. "That missile contains what we call the Infinity Core. It's just one of many technologies we've developed while you thought we were still playing with rockets and satellites." Dax's purple eyes narrowed. "You're bluffing. No Level 2 civilization could create such technology." "Look at your long-range scanners," Reed suggested. The Imperial crew did, and what they saw made their blood run cold. Millions of tiny points of light were appearing throughout the solar system. Each one was powered by the same impossible energy signature as the missile. "We've known about your empire for centuries," Reed continued. "Every scout ship you lost near Earth. Not accidents. We shot them down, studied them, and improved upon your technology, while feeding you false information about our capabilities." Dax gripped his command chair tightly. This couldn't be happening. Earth was supposed to be primitive, an easy target. Instead, the missile before you carries enough power to tear a hole in spacetime, Reed explained. "But it's just a demonstration. There are millions more like it, too small for your sensors to detect until we activated them. Your entire fleet is surrounded." "Why?" Dax demanded. "If you had this power, why hide it?" "Because we believe in peace, High Commander. We watched your empire expand, studied how you operate. We wanted to know if peaceful cooperation was possible. Today's threats against Earth have given us our answer." The missile slowly began to retreat, moving back toward Earth. Around the solar system, the tiny defenders remained active, a silent reminder of humanity's hidden strength. "You have 55 minutes remaining," Reed said. "I suggest you use them wisely. Earth will not be conquered, but we are open to establishing diplomatic relations with an empire that respects our sovereignty." The transmission ended, leaving the Imperial bridge in stunned silence. Dax stared at the blue planet, seeing it with new eyes. They had come expecting to find prey, only to discover they had wandered into the den of something far more dangerous than they could have imagined. "Your orders, sir," Officer Gray asked quietly. Dax watched as the missile disappeared back into Earth's atmosphere, knowing that humanity's warning shot had just changed everything. The Empire had never retreated before, but they had never faced a species that had so thoroughly outplayed them either. For the first time in his long career, High Commander Dax realized that retreat might be the only sensible option. Captain Emma Stone walked confidently into the United Nations Emergency Council chamber. The massive room was filled with world leaders and military commanders from every nation, all gathered to witness humanity's first official contact with the Galactic Empire. The giant screen at the front of the chamber showed the Imperial fleet, still holding position near Mars. Their warning shot had gotten their attention. Now it was time for the full truth. "Captain Stone," Admiral Reed's voice came through her earpiece, "you're authorized to begin the briefing. Tell them everything." Emma took her place at the podium. At 35, she was young for such a responsibility, but she had spent her entire adult life preparing for this moment. As Earth's chosen spokesperson, she would finally reveal the secret history that only a select few had known. "Distinguished leaders," she began, her voice clear and strong. "For over 2 centuries, humanity has been fighting a silent war. Not with weapons or armies, but with patience and intelligence." The room's lights dimmed as holographic images appeared around her. They showed various accidents and natural phenomena throughout history, all actually carefully planned operations against Imperial forces. "The Tunguska event of 1908 was our first contact," Emma continued. "An Imperial scout ship, shot down using technology we barely understood at the time. But that crash gave us our first glimpse of what was possible." More images appeared, secret facilities built under mountains and oceans, scientists working on recovered alien technology, successful tests of impossible machines. Every time the Empire sent observers, we knew. Their stealth technology was advanced, but we had learned to detect the slight distortions they created in Earth's magnetic field. We tracked them all. In the audience, many leaders shifted uncomfortably. Some had known pieces of the truth, but few had known the full extent of humanity's secret preparations. Their observation post on the dark side of the moon. Emma smiled. "We've been feeding it false data since the day they built it. The constant conflicts they observed between nations, carefully orchestrated shows to convince them we were too divided to be a threat. The holographic display showed the Empire's lunar base and the complex network of quantum transmitters that had been manipulating its sensors for decades. Every satellite we launched carried hidden technology. Every space mission had a secret purpose. While they watched us play with rockets, we were building something far more advanced." Emma pressed a button on her podium. The display changed to show the true extent of Earth's defensive network, millions of quantum-linked devices spread throughout the solar system, each one carrying technology that the Empire couldn't even detect. The Infinity Core they saw today, that's just the beginning. We've taken their technology and evolved it far beyond their understanding. We've discovered principles of physics they haven't even theorized yet. In the audience, the Chinese premier raised his hand. "Why reveal this now? Why not continue to hide our strength?" Emma's expression grew serious. "Because the Empire's arrival today wasn't random. Our deep space sensors detected something concerning. They're running from something. Something that frightens even them. Humanity needs to be ready." The room erupted in murmurs. The idea that something could frighten the mighty Empire was troubling indeed. Our message to the Empire today serves two purposes, Emma continued. First, to ensure they respect Earth's independence. But second, and more importantly, to open diplomatic channels. We need to know what they're running from. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Earth had successfully hidden its true nature for centuries, but now a new chapter was beginning. The Empire thought they found a primitive world ripe for conquest, Emma concluded. Instead, they found a civilization that had been watching them, studying them, and surpassing them in secret. Now we must decide how to use that advantage. As she finished speaking, a message flashed on her screen. The Empire was responding to their warning. The next few minutes would determine whether humanity's carefully laid plans would lead to peace or conflict. Emma straightened her shoulders, ready for whatever came next. Earth had revealed its hand, but there were still plenty of surprises left if the Empire chose unwisely. The real game was just beginning. Dr. Wells stood in the Antarctic facility's main control room, watching as the full power of Project Guardian was unleashed for the first time. Around him, screens lit up with countless green dots, each representing a microscopic defender coming online. Guardian network at 70% activation, Mark Turner announced, his fingers flying over the control panel. The Empire sensors are going crazy trying to understand what they're seeing. The room's main display showed the Imperial fleet's reaction. Ships were changing positions, their formations breaking as they detected more and more of Earth's hidden defenses. "Show me the full network," Wells ordered. The holographic display in the center of the room expanded, revealing the true scale of humanity's defense system. Millions of quantum-linked devices, each smaller than a grain of sand, formed an intricate web throughout the solar system. Some had been waiting dormant for decades, while others had been secretly deployed with every satellite launch. "Sir," Anna Roberts called out, "the quantum cores are performing beyond expected parameters. The network's processing power is 30% higher than our simulations predicted." Wells nodded, allowing himself a small smile. 200 years of preparation, and their technology was working even better than they'd hoped. A new alert flashed across the screens. "Imperial ships are attempting to scan the network," Turner reported. "They're using their most advanced sensor systems." "Let them try," Wells replied. "Each scan attempt will teach our quantum eye more about their technology." The truth was beautiful in its simplicity. Every time the Empire tried to understand Earth's defenses, they revealed more about their own capabilities. The Guardian network wasn't just a defensive system. It was the most advanced learning machine ever created. "Doctor," Roberts said urgently, "look at this. The network is detecting unusual energy signatures from the Imperial fleet. They're unlike anything in our database." Wells moved to her station, studying the readings. The Empire's ships were emitting energy patterns that suggested fear or preparation for a desperate attack. He touched his communicator. "Captain Stone, are you seeing this?" "Affirmative." Emma's voice came through clearly. "The Empire's ships are showing signs of panic. Their formations suggest they're considering a last-ditch assault. They don't understand what they're dealing with," Wells said. "Should we show them?" There was a pause before Emma responded. "Do it. Activate Protocol Omega-7." Wells turned to his team. "You heard the captain. Light it up." Around the solar system, the Guardian network began to pulse with energy. Each microscopic defender synchronized with its neighbors, creating a cascading wave of quantum effects that even the Empire's most advanced sciences couldn't comprehend. The effect was immediate. Imperial sensors went dark. Their shields flickered. Their mighty engines sputtered as the very laws of physics seemed to shift around them. "Network is operating at full capacity," Turner announced. "Quantum field is stable. We have complete control of local spacetime." On the main screen, they watched as the Imperial fleet froze in space, caught in a web of forces they couldn't detect or understand. Earth's hidden power was finally revealed in its full glory. "Message from High Commander Dax," Roberts called out. They're requesting immediate communication. Wells smiled. The Empire had come expecting to find a primitive world. Instead, they found themselves trapped by technology that made their greatest achievements look like children's toys. "Put me through to Admiral Reed," he said. "Tell him the Guardian network is performing perfectly. The Empire's ships are contained, but we're detecting some unusual readings that confirm Captain Stone's earlier concerns." The data was clear. The Empire's ships carried traces of energy signatures that suggested they had recently fled from something powerful, something that had scared them enough to seek easy conquests in this part of the galaxy. "Sir," Turner said quietly, "should we be worried about what could frighten a civilization as powerful as the Empire?" Wells looked at the displays showing Earth's defensive network, at the technology they had built by standing on the shoulders of their would-be conquerors. "No, Mark," he replied. "Whatever's out there, humanity is ready. We've spent centuries preparing for the Empire. Now we know there are greater challenges ahead, but we've proven one thing today." He gestured at the screens showing the immobilized Imperial fleet. "We've proven that humanity isn't just ready to join the galactic community. We're ready to lead it." The Guardian network pulsed with power, a silent testament to humanity's hidden strength, as Earth prepared for its next great challenge. High Commander Dax paced the floor of his flagship's war room. Around the large circular table, the Empire's most senior officers sat in uncomfortable silence. Their mighty fleet, the pride of the Empire's military, hung powerless in space, caught in an invisible web of forces they couldn't understand. "Play it again," Dax ordered, his metallic features reflecting the dim light. The holographic display activated, showing their initial scans of Earth. The data was clear: a Level 2 civilization, barely capable of reaching their own moon. Primitive weapons, basic satellites, ongoing conflicts between nations. Everything had pointed to an easy conquest. "How?" Officer Gray asked, breaking the tense silence. "How did we miss this?" "Because they wanted us to miss it," a new voice answered. The Imperial Science Director, Wilson, stepped forward. His usual confidence was gone, replaced by a mix of fear and admiration. "Explain," Dax demanded. Wilson activated his data pad, projecting new images into the air. "Look at their history. Every time we lost a scout ship near Earth, it wasn't an accident. They were studying us, learning from each piece of technology they recovered." The display showed various crash sites through Earth's history, each one carefully staged to look like natural disasters or mechanical failures. "But that's not the worst part," Wilson continued. "They didn't just copy our technology. They understood it, improved it, and then took it in directions we never imagined possible. The quantum network surrounding us," Gray said quietly, "our sensors can't even properly detect it." "Because it operates on principles we don't understand," Wilson confirmed. "They've developed a way to manipulate space-time itself. The missile they showed us, that was just a demonstration. These humans could probably tear our fleet apart at the atomic level if they wanted to." Dax stopped pacing, staring out at the blue planet that had so thoroughly outplayed them. "And now they know our secret. They know what we're running from." The room grew even quieter. The Empire's greatest shame, fleeing from the void swarm that had appeared at the galaxy's edge. Their mighty civilization, reduced to seeking easy conquests while trying to escape an enemy they couldn't defeat. "Our latest reports indicate the swarm has consumed 3 more systems," Gray reported grimly. "Nothing we have can stop them. That's why we came here, looking for resources and territory away from the swarm's advance. And instead we found something far more dangerous," Dax said. "A species that has been quietly watching us, learning from us, surpassing us, all while pretending to be primitive." The war room screen suddenly activated, showing a new transmission from Earth. Captain Stone's face appeared, her expression neutral but confident. "High Commander Dax," she said, "your fleet's energy signatures tell an interesting story. You're running from something, aren't you?" Dax straightened his shoulders. There was no point in denying it now. Yes, a force that makes your impressive technology look like toys. The Void Swarm consumes everything in its path. Entire civilizations, whole solar systems, gone. To his surprise, Stone smiled. We know. We've been tracking the swarm's movement through the galaxy for the past 50 years. Did you really think Earth was the only world where we hid our true capabilities? The Imperial officers exchanged shocked looks. Wilson's datapad clattered to the floor. What are you saying? Dax asked, though he feared he already knew the answer. I'm saying that humanity isn't just on Earth, High Commander. We're scattered throughout the galaxy, hiding in plain sight, preparing. The swarm isn't unstoppable. They just haven't met anyone who was truly ready for them. Until now. The implications hit Dax like a physical blow. If Earth could hide this level of technology from the Empire, how many other seemingly primitive worlds were actually human outposts in disguise? Stone's expression grew serious. We're offering you a choice, High Commander. Leave as enemies or stay as allies. The swarm is coming, and humanity is preparing to stand against them. Your empire can either join us or face both threats alone. Dax looked at his officers, seeing the same realization in their eyes. They had come to conquer a primitive world, only to discover they might have found their only hope for survival. The choice, it seemed, wasn't really a choice at all. Admiral Reed stood in the Antarctic Command Center, watching as the Imperial delegation's shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere. Next to him, Captain Stone and Dr. Wells monitored the Guardian Network's readings, making sure the Empire didn't try anything foolish during these crucial moments. Their shuttle is clean, Wells reported. No hidden weapons or transmission devices. They're actually following our protocols. Amazing what a little demonstration of power can do, Stone said with a slight smile. The shuttle landed on the designated pad outside the facility. Through the observation windows, they watched as High Commander Dax and his senior officers stepped out into the Antarctic wind. Their metallic features showed clear discomfort in Earth's cold. Let's give them a proper welcome, Reed said, heading toward the main entrance. Minutes later, the Imperial leaders sat around the facility's conference table, their eyes wide as they took in the advanced technology surrounding them. Holographic displays showed the positions of both their fleet and Earth's defensive network. Before we begin, Reed said, his voice firm, there's someone else who should join us. He pressed a button on the table. The room's main screen came to life, showing a face that made the Imperial officers gasp. It was Admiral John Cooper, one of their own high-ranking military advisors. Hello, Dax, Cooper said, his hologram flickering slightly. Surprised to see one of your trusted officers is actually human. Dax's purple eyes widened in shock. You? How long? 30 years, Cooper replied. Just like our operatives on 12 other Imperial core worlds, we needed to understand your empire from the inside while we prepared. The Void Swarm, Dax said quietly. You know more about them than we do, don't you? Dr. Wells stepped forward, activating a new holographic display. It showed a three-dimensional map of the galaxy, with red markers indicating the swarm's advance. The swarm isn't unstoppable, Wells explained. They're powerful, yes, but they have weaknesses. We've been studying them since they first appeared. Our quantum technology can disrupt their hive-mind connection. That's impossible, one of the Imperial scientists protested. We've tried everything against them. You tried everything you knew, Stone corrected. But while your empire focused on expansion and conquest, humanity chose a different path. We hid, we watched, we learned, and most importantly, we prepared. Admiral Reed took control of the display, showing new data. We're offering an alliance, but understand this. It will be on our terms. The empire as you know it must change. Change how? Dax asked, though his tone suggested he already knew. No more conquests. No more forcing worlds to submit or die. The galaxy faces a real threat now, and we need unity, not dominance. The display changed again, showing dozens of seemingly primitive worlds scattered across Imperial space. Dax's face fell as he realized the implications. Yes, Stone confirmed. Every one of those worlds has hidden human outposts. Every one of them has technology like ours. We've built a network of prepared worlds right under your nose, all waiting for this moment. The choice is simple, Reed continued. Join us as equals in the fight against the swarm, or try to face both humanity and the swarm alone. Either way, the age of imperial conquest is over. Dax looked at his officers, then back at the humans. You could have destroyed us the moment we entered your system. Why offer an alliance at all? Because despite your empire's flaws, you've built something that could be great, Reed answered. Your technology, your infrastructure, your organized military. All of it could serve a greater purpose. Help us save the galaxy instead of trying to rule it. The room fell silent as Dax considered their words. Through the windows, Earth's surface glittered with power as the Guardian network pulsed with energy. In orbit, his mighty fleet remained held in humanity's invisible grip. Finally, he stood. Humanity has proven itself far wiser and more powerful than we imagined. The Empire accepts your terms. Reed nodded, allowing himself a small smile. Then let's begin. The swarm will reach this sector in less than a year. We have work to do. As the humans and Imperial officers began their planning, the Guardian network continued its silent watch. Humanity had hidden its strength for centuries, letting the galaxy think they were primitive and weak. That deception was finally over. Now it was time to show the universe what humanity could really do. The end.